Counting or not counting gang violence?
Oh my God. Go, run!
A high-profile assassination, a political motive, the official story served up before the body was even cold. But what if it's all just a script? What if behind every action, behind every piece of evidence, lies a cold and cruel calculation? They tell us it was a lone wolf, but the strange details and glaring inconsistencies scream the opposite. We are being lied to. ShadowNotes. This is ShadowNotes. Today, we're setting aside stories of paranormal phenomena to investigate a shadow that has fallen over our entire nation, a shadow that conceals something far more terrifying than any ghost. To understand what really happened on September 10th, you first have to understand who Charlie Kirk was. He wasn't just a politician or a commentator, he was a phenomenon. At 18, he founded Turning Point USA, and in just over a decade, transformed it into one of the most influential and controversial conservative forces in the country. He was a media mastermind, a political rock star, drawing crowds of adoring young supporters across America. To millions, he was a voice of truth, a fearless culture warrior who wasn't afraid to say what others wouldn't. To millions of others, he was a voice of hate, a dangerous demagogue fanning the flames of division. There was no middle ground. His American Comeback Tour was the culmination of his influence, a defiant show of force in the heart of liberal college campuses. He was deliberately walking into enemy territory, and that's precisely what made him not just a target for criticism, but a literal target. And then the day arrives. Utah Valley University, the atmosphere is electric. Suddenly, a single shot rings out. Chaos erupts. People are screaming, running. Security rushes the stage. In the turmoil, federal agents move with lightning speed. The area is locked down. The FBI takes control of the case. And almost immediately, a name surfaces. Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. Instantly, as if on cue, major media outlets and officials begin to paint us a picture. They tell us he confessed to his parents. They tell us he left a note for his roommate. They tell us the motive is in text messages, where he wrote he could no longer stomach Kirk's hate. They give us the perfect killer with the perfect motive. But the story gets even stranger when the prosecution presents its evidence. Evidence that looks too perfect, too cinematic. On the shell casings found at the scene, inscriptions are engraved. "Hey Fascist," and a line from the Italian anti-fascist anthem, O Bella Ciao. Is this a killer's confession, or the calling card of someone who wanted us to believe that exact version? When the dust settled, independent researchers on internet forums began breaking down audience videos frame by frame, and they discovered a chilling anomaly. Seconds before the shot, one of Kirk's own security guards, standing right behind him on stage, makes a series of strange, subtle hand gestures. This doesn't look like normal security communication. These are short, sharp signals. A coincidence? Maybe. But the gesture is made toward the crowd, not toward other guards. What was it? A warning? Or an order? This detail never became a focus of the investigation. It was simply ignored. But it remains on film, a documented moment of strange activity at the heart of the security detail, an instant before the tragedy. Let's just connect the facts they allow us to know. On one hand, the official version, a 22-year-old branded a left-wing radical, pulls off an incredibly difficult shot. His DNA is on the trigger. He leaves a trail of digital and written confessions. On the other hand, his biography. He was raised in a family of staunch Republicans in a predominantly Mormon community in Utah, a family that, according to neighbors, regularly practiced target shooting. He was no amateur with a rifle. And this brings us to the main question the official investigation avoids. They tell us he was capable of making the shot. Fine. But then the whole picture falls apart. They present him as a lone radical, yet he's a product of a conservative environment. They show us almost cartoonish anti-fascist shell casings, but say nothing about his actual affiliations. So who is he? A lone wolf radical or the perfect scapegoat? A man with the right skills and a sufficiently confusing background to have anything pinned on him. A young man who, according to friends, was full of hate for Kirk, but whose hatred could have easily been directed. This assassination is not just a tragedy, it's a catalyst. It's a spark thrown into the powder keg of a divided nation. The Trump administration is already vowing to prosecute those who celebrate the killing. A virtual witch hunt is underway online, with enemy lists being drawn up and calls for violence echoing through the web. This case is being used as a banner, a justification for hatred. History is being written before our very eyes, and it's being written in blood. This is how the darkest chapters in human history begin, with high-profile political assassinations, with the search for an internal enemy. This could be the point of no return, after which the path leads to only one place: open civil conflict, a real war of Americans against Americans. The official investigation will convict a man, but it won't convict the idea. What's more terrifying, a sniper's bullet or the narrative that was written before the shot was even fired? And can we stop the fall into the abyss if most people don't even see that we're standing on the edge? Investigating this, I felt less like a detective and more like a historian watching in real time an event that will one day be in textbooks. And I'm terrified of what that chapter might say. This is bigger than a conspiracy. It's a crack in the very foundation of our country. What do you think? Was Robinson a pawn in someone else's game, or a tragic product of our time being cynically exploited? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you believe the search for truth is important, especially now, subscribe to ShadowNotes. Stay vigilant.